Hey guys, welcome back to Poppin' Politics with Kim Nicole. It is your girl Kim Nicole, and I decided this morning to just pop on here. Usually, I want to talk about politics and pop culture, but I also want to share with you some stories about me and who I am, and things that I've gone through. And what made me think about this is because this morning, I'm sitting out here on my balcony right now, and I began to write in my journal about, how not too long ago, this was just a vision, just something as simple as me sitting on my balcony, drinking my coffee, having breakfast, you know, allowing the sun to glisten on my skin, and this warm and cozy and nurturing space that I envisioned in my mind. And it made me really think about how powerful your imagination, your mind is, and that I actually created that. I created it in my mind first, and now I'm actually living it. So, what do I mean? Okay, so in 2023 and 2022, the latter part of 2022, I went through a very rough period. To be honest, I was going through a lot of issues for the past 4 years, from 2019 to 2023. And to be honest, I had a lot of really, really high highs and low lows all at the same damn time. So it is hard. And when I think about this morning, as I began to reflect, like, wow, I remember the time when I was sleeping in my brother's kitchen in a lounge chair, and how I would cover myself with the blanket, because they had this like really good, they have a window in their kitchen that just floods the kitchen with so much beautiful natural light. Actually, the whole apartment has a lot of beautiful natural light. But I would take that blanket, cover myself, cover my head, but I would open up just enough so I can feel that light reflecting on me. And I would just close my eyes and imagine me getting up in my new space, whatever that was. But I had a vision on what the space was going to look like. It was going to be beautiful, pretty space. It was going to be nurturing. It was going to be clean. I really filled it with all the things, how I wanted to feel, what I would be wearing. Like, I had envisioned me going, holding my cup of coffee in this beautiful mug with, you know, um, the cozy robe on, or pajamas and slippers, and I sit on my patio and just sip my wonderful warm glass, a cup of coffee. And it got me to thinking, like, every day, because I used to, instead of doing that, when I would be sleeping in the chair in the kitchen. And I just want to add that although I was sleeping in the chair in the kitchen, um, my brother and sister in law did the best they could to accommodate us. And so that was the really primarily the only space they had. And I took it because prior to that, I was already experienced a shelter, and I didn't like that at all. And get I'm gonna do a story time around when I was unhoused, and that experience, because it's something that I God has been telling me to share, and I was so ashamed and so embarrassed that I could not even speak to it. And I think because during the time, I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough to say it while experiencing it. But anyway, to get back to this story. So here I am now, sitting on my beautiful patio, and it just made me think, wow, how powerful your mind really is, and what other things that I manifested. People say manifestation. I believe that. But it all starts with the imagination, which you're creating here, and then it takes the actions to make it happen. So you can, and you are a creator, but you also have to put action to that belief, to that image in your mind, that vision of what you want to create. And then also you have to believe that is yours. And that's so hard, to do that while in a circumstance that says the direct opposite of what you want to create and what you're trying to create, but what you're currently living. So I just thought that was kind of like, wow, now I'm here. I have the outdoor space that I envisioned, and maybe not everything down to it, but what it really boils down to is what that space that I imagine, what really was the feeling that it invoked. There was a feeling attached to that vision. The feeling created the vision. All those things, the fuzzy, the fuzzy robe or fuzzy slippers, and the cozy pajamas. Now, right now, I'm in my pajamas. Okay, this is just one of them, but and it's velour and it's nice and soft. But think about it. I'm out here on my patio. These are the curtains, and this is my excuse me. These are my patio cushions. One of my plant babies, and I'm just and look at my little other plant, my other little flowers. It's just so beautiful, and I'm really grateful. Excuse me, now I'm messing with the camera, but I'm really grateful for everything that I had, and I was grateful for my family to, do the most that they could, but what they had, because they were short on space, but they was like, listen, and you know, but that also fueled me to not give up, don't stop. This little piece of hair just keeps sticking up. Anyway, guys, but and for that, I'm like, you know what? I'm so thankful, and I wanted to just come out and talk about that for a minute, because I think that it's so important to remember where you were, where you are now, and give grace and give thanks to God, because God is almighty. He is infinite and so massive in terms of all the, you know, magnificent and miraculous things that he can do. And if you really tap into it, you see him. You know. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a point in 2022 when I lost just about, I felt like everything. I physically, I lost a lot. I had my stuff in storage from when I moved. I had 2 storage units. One of them, they auctioned off my stuff. And so that was so hard. I think that was the last straw. And then during that time, I went on mute. Like, I couldn't pray. I couldn't really talk to God about anything. Um, I just felt like I was getting consistently, a series of ass whoopings from the universe. Like, I don't know, but I was getting my ass kicked. And so much so to a point where I just surrendered and let it go because I had no other choice. I tried everything I could in my power to figure stuff out because that's who I am. Like, there's a problem, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm also the person who's trying to get ahead of any potential problems. I'm a planner. I'm a doer. And the moment I stopped planning, doing, really just I went numb. And I went mute. I just had nothing to say. I got into disagreements, fallouts with family, with friends. You know, I was going through a lot and lost a job, lost a place, had to move, had all kind of stuff going through. Like my son was, my son was going through a whole lot, being, threatened by some other youth. We had to move to Atlanta. It's been crazy. And yet, if you saw me, I look put together. If you saw me, I didn't look like what I was going through. Not at that point. Not yet. Even not at that point. But inside, there was like a million cracks inside of me. All just like a mirror, like shatters, but it has these cracks before it shatters. Well, that was me. I had like so many cracks inside that when they told me that my stuff was auctioned off in storage, that's when that's when everything shattered completely. And it was like, after that, where was Kim? She still was there, but she definitely went on mute. I went on like a hiatus, mentally and emotionally. I didn't feel nothing. Did not feel shit. And that was my way, I thought, of protecting myself. I think it did protect me to a certain degree. It did. So anyway, I was thinking about all of these things while I was sitting on my patio this morning and really being grateful about, wow, it was something that I just, every day, to keep my sanity while I was at my brother's house, like, yo, I just imagine a beautiful space, and now I have one. Now I live it. And it also just is also something that came to my mind, is that even when you have the smallest of something, of a space particularly, um, that that space can be a space for you to be creative. It also can be a space to bring some healing. And when I think about it, when I used to just put that blanket over my head and just leave a little space for the sun, for that light to come in, and if I just close my eyes, I created a safe space for me, a nurturing space for me, something that was restorative to me, because even in that moment in the kitchen, like, I didn't look around at the rest of my surroundings, but in that moment in the kitchen, it gave a lot of, it gave me, in those moments, I was able to create the picture, create the vision that ultimately I am now living. And so I want to say that anyone who's going through a tough time right now, or something similar to mine's, which was not easy. It was really hell. I'm not even gonna lie. It was messed up. And then there was a lot of, like I said, at the same time, good things that happened too. It wasn't all doom and gloom, but when it was hard. Do not give up. Continue to create your vision for your future reality. Continue to work on you. Don't stop. But, this is an important but, nourish yourself. Well, if you can find a space that you can create a quiet time, some space that's going to be nurturing and renewing to you, so that you can think, so that you can allow yourself grace, so you can just breathe. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to cost you anything. You just need that space, whether it's just going to a park every day or whenever you can. And there's a space in that park that makes you feel like you, that makes you feel like this is who I am. This is really who I am. And I used to do that too. When I needed, I sought out environments that were conducive to my well-being. So I love coffee, but I don't drink it anymore. But I used to love coffee, and I love a good coffee shop with a vibe, please. I'm all over it. I used to love going to the park. I used to go to Van Cortlandt Park. And there's just like the whole thing with the train and the tennis courts and the track and the playground. Is very urban, it's very New York City, and it's very me. And just in the morning, having my coffee, running to catch the train, or just sitting on the train sometime, or just sitting in Van Cortlandt Park or Central Park, it always gave me that feeling of reconnecting with who I really am, even if I'm going through this hard time. And it also just sparked creativity in me and got me to, motivated to start planning and doing and thinking, yeah, this is temporary. And so I encourage everybody who's going through a tough time to do that for yourself. And it's there. Just lean into it. And just like me, now that I'm sitting out on my patio and balcony that I love, and we created this whole like little oasis, which is really cute for me right now. And I love it, and I'm so grateful. So I just wanted to reflect and talk about that for a moment, and give grace to myself for getting through a hard time, and also to encourage everybody else that if you're going through a hard time, no matter what that looks like for you, give yourself grace, give yourself a space to reflect and give thanks to God, and to create the vision for your future. Yeah, that's what's up. So on that note, I am going to be back with another video, but this time we're going to talk about some poppin' politics, okay? Because we in the last days of this 2024 election, and baby, a lot to talk about. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.